You have diabetes, like you have type 1 diabetes. There's not a single second of my day, a single activity, a single interaction I can go through that it doesn't affect. It's probably the thing in my life that I think of the most.
My name is Reece, and I've lived with type 1 diabetes for over 4 years. I'm on a journey to meet other Vertex employees who live with the disease as well, to really truthfully understand what it's like to have type 1 diabetes.
So I woke up with paramedics standing over top of me.
There was this level of, honestly, guilt and shame.
I felt judged.
I just feel like I beat myself up for a lot of it.
All I want to do is curl up on the ground and cry about it.
After a 5-hour train ride from Boston, we finally made it to Philadelphia, where Akila lives. I sat down with Akila to talk about her journey with type 1 diabetes. So, Akila, I want to know your story.
The reason that I got diagnosed with diabetes was I was having all these GI problems. We were at Children's Hospital to meet with a GI doctor, and then they just happened to do a blood sugar check, and they were like, wait, you have diabetes, like you have type 1 diabetes.
How much has it defined your life and up until this point?
I mean, it's defined every part of it. Like, there's not a single second of my day, a single activity, a single interaction I can go through that it doesn't affect. There is this thing that's a part of me that I can never stop thinking about. I can't not think of the next 10 minutes or the next 2 hours or the next even just several days. It's almost like the first thing on my mind when I wake up and the first thing on my mind when anyone says anything to me about anything.
When you have T1D, you are constantly making decisions. It becomes part of every moment. Earlier this morning, Akila invited me to her gym to show me what that looks like in her daily routine. Hello!
Hi!
How are you?
I'm good.
My life is in your hands, Akila, and I trust you.
You should. I have juice in my bag.
Oh, great.
They have snacks in there. Did you have protein today? You got any protein?
No.
I'm gonna have a protein ball. Do you want a protein ball?
No, I don't know. Just check my levels.
Okay.
I am 11.1. I'm at 199.
Okay. So you're a little higher right now.
That's never good.
No,
when someone goes, okay.
Okay, that's it.
Before the class started, Akila talked me through all of her prep. And this workout is a mix of everything. Aerobic exercises, weight training, and the hard part is that different types of exercises can have completely different effects on blood sugar. That's my experience, at least. With type 1 diabetes, exercise affects everyone so differently. Shall we do this?
Yeah, let's go in. Are you ready?
Yes. I have so many things I need to ask you. We jumped straight into the class, and honestly, it felt great to work out with other people. Since being diagnosed, I've mostly trained on my own. It's just so much easier to manage my glucose levels that way. But training alongside Akila in a social setting gave me a different kind of confidence. As the reps started to build, it felt like the right moment to pause and check how our levels were reacting.
Yeah. Oh, so you're even higher now.
Yeah.
You didn't have the protein ball, right?
No.
Okay, that's probably good then.
Okay.
Do you need to give insulin?
I'll give it 5. Both of our glucose levels were actually starting to rise, but we decided to finish the class before taking insulin.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, Akila, you definitely put me through the paces there.
How you
and
feel?
the coach. Yeah. Thank you,
like
for taking me. Yeah, it was good. Shall we check our...
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I shot up a bit.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I took insulin before the class. I checked halfway through and I was fine, but that's what happens. Sometimes when I do weights, I'll shoot up. So I'm 190 right now. I started at 114. It's a little bit of a spike.
That is a bit of a spike. 10.1, I'm on 181. So
okay, so he started higher than me and then came down below.
Yes,
I started lower than you and then I came up higher.
Okay, shall we head back to yours?
Let's do it.
Yeah, cool, okay.
Thanks, Janine. Bye.
Thank you, coach. Appreciate you, thank you. Even after all these years, managing type 1 diabetes still isn't easy for Akila. On the drive back from the workout, we talked about how being diagnosed so young meant she's lived through every stage of life with it.
I mean, that's the thing with being diagnosed when I was 11 is I've been through all my stages of life, like with diabetes. So I learned how to drive with diabetes. I learned how to go to college. I learned how to drink with diabetes. So it was never relearning it with diabetes. Everything I did was just, I had diabetes with it, so.
For others, like me, being diagnosed later can mean relearning even the most basic things. It's a reminder that even though we share the same disease, T1D looks so different for everyone. When you go to the hospital, when you go to your endo, what's that relationship like?
Yeah, that's been probably the toughest part of this for sure.
In which sense?
There's what is going on in your body and in your cells, and then what are you feeling and experiencing? And I have found that a lot of my endocrinologists are only focused on the body and the cells part, and then they're not taking my feedback about what I'm living and experiencing. It's a very judgmental place, I find. I recently left an endocrinologist because she was very frustrated that I wasn't using all the updated technology. And her reasoning was, if you use this closed loop technology, it's much easier when you come to the doctor's office for us to download it all into our system. And I was like, that doesn't seem like a good reason for me to make medical decisions about my day-to-day life so that twice a year I can come here and your system is a little easier to handle. I always feel like I'm an inconvenience to them. I don't feel like I'm listened to. It's a lot.
It sounds like you feel like you're not being heard. Because have you got to a point where you can imagine your life without it? Do you even know what that would feel like?
It would feel amazing. It would feel like a weight is lifted off, just to be able to go out and do anything you want. Or you could go out and just have someone else plan your day for you and not know where you're going. And that's not something I can do right now,
This is really bad, but I do sometimes on holidays go into a bit of, I refuse to believe I have it. I'm gonna have that ice cream, have that, which we can do anyway. I know we can eat whatever we want, but I'm not gonna inject, I'm just gonna have the freaking ice cream. Sometimes I'm just
Yeah.
I wanna just enjoy.
That's burnout. It sounds like you're burnt out.
You think so? It's that,
yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It's if you never get a break from something, you're going to burn out from it. And so I think that's the other thing is there's not a lot of support. There's a lot of support for if my numbers are bad, if my numbers are off and I need, help from my doctor, you can reach out to them for that. But there's not a lot of support of just mental support. I don't really think I realized how much it affected me mentally until I really got into therapy. Really going through what was that like? And that was the first time I feel like I'd let myself walk through it all and being what was that like for that little girl? That was a little girl that went through all that, It sounds cheesy, but she was doing the best she could do. And I think that, sorry. I just feel like I beat myself up for a lot of it of just not doing enough and yeah, she was doing her best.
Yeah.
I think that was a really pivotal moment in therapy where my therapist was what would you say to that 11-year-old girl? And I was I wouldn't say anything. I would just give her a hug. That's all she needed.
The distress and mental burden of T1D are some of the hardest things to manage. One way that Akila has found to cope is through working with animals. Seems like, this is amazing that you do this.
Thanks.
You find it very rewarding?
It's extremely rewarding. Yeah, I feel like these dogs in a kennel, I think is very similar to sitting in a hospital bed and not having any control over your health and having people just coming in and poking and prodding you.
But it also feels in there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Kind of chaotic in some sense. How do you You had any issues here before?
Oh
Type
yeah,
1?
so with walking around, you're in the sun, I go low here a lot.
Oh, you do?
So like I'm usually midway having a snack. It's scary to be like, I'm in charge of this dog's life right now, and if I'm starting to feel dizzy and shaky, like I cannot be taking that responsibility on. So I think just being like knowing you're responsible for more than just yourself when you're here, you really have to be on top of it. But yeah, I go low a lot. I try to have a lot of protein before I come, so that I can kind of manage the blood sugar even with all the activity.
Well, it feels like it's a lot of movement. You're walking, you must walk so much in there.
Yeah, here, yeah, because I'm usually here 2 to 3 hours, so it's like, it's a lot, yeah.
You usually come here after work? Mm-hmm. See, that's not, that time is just...
Yeah, it's hard.
Slow time, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got all the things you need on you. Sugar, carbs,
Yep.
You brought them with you.
I got all of those things. So I have a granola bar, I have juice. These are hot dogs for the dogs, not for me. Yeah, you want some hot dogs? I think that diabetes is very misunderstood, and I don't think I get a lot of chances to really give my story and say how I feel about it. But I also think it will help a lot of people. I think getting diagnosed is like a super scary and isolating thing, and I think if I had a support system or a group of people who I heard talking about it when I was diagnosed, I would feel a lot more comfortable. So I feel like it's really great just to give more exposure to a really misunderstood and very stereotyped disease. It's still a regular topic in therapy. It's still something where when I talk about, like you saw earlier, when I'm talking about getting diagnosed, it's still raw for me, right? Like, so it's something I think I'll always be kind of adjusting to.
I don't know if I maybe expected it, hoping to talk to you and kind of have this thing of, you'll be like, oh, don't worry, Reece, like when you're 2 decades in at the end, like it gets so, but it sounds like it's not.
No, I mean, I think it's something you have to grow with. There's always new things that life is gonna throw you, whether you have diabetes or not, and then when you have diabetes, you just have to think of, how is that gonna come into play?
I had this idea of how I thought that conversation was going to go with Akila. Maybe it was a bit of hope from my side in terms of I'm going to meet someone who's had it since they were super young, around a similar age, and type 1 diabetes, it does get super better. It's so much easier to deal with. It's not as anxiety inducing, but really it's not in a dark way, but it's reminding me that however long you have this, it's still as relentless. It's still 1,000 decisions a day. It's still gonna come at times where you really don't want your levels to be playing up. It's quite a stark reminder to what actually comes with living with this disease, and it's a lot, even to Akila, it's still a lot.